All right, this is my work through video on a shaft, a step shaft that's made with step turning to make different shoulder features throughout the part. So it might be a little bit longer video. I'm going to try and break down my workflow and explain why I'm doing things on this video, um, just to kind of show the decision-making process of how I'm picking through a design. So I'm going to start by opening SolidWorks, and I'm getting the welcome to SolidWorks screen. So the first thing I'm going to have to set up is what unit this is in. So let's open our drawing and look around. I see things like 0.75, 32.5, but if you actually look down in the bottom here in the info, we can see something like this. Weight is in pounds. And it's showing us the weight 47.05 pounds, which we can actually, after we make this part, we can inspect the mass and see if it is somewhere close to here. So let's go back to SolidWorks, and we're going to go into our SAE units. So open that up. All right, now I have this up here. You can just click anywhere on the main page and that'll go away. So we're in our work environment, and we're going to start our sketch. So I'm going to take a look at my part. I'm going to most likely make it symmetrically and extrude it both ways. That way I can mirror this feature over there and all of the basic, the major design points, and then the like minor differences, like this is a bigger hole, that's a smaller hole. I'll make those separate. But let's see, I made this and I only got up to the point where I was making this before. I didn't get through the whole part. So again, this is just kind of showing you what I do and how I'm going through this. So I'm going to start my sketch on, just pick the front plane. And the first thing I noticed off the bat is there's a few circles in there. And I'll have to go back and look. I think I was doing 3. So sometimes that doesn't sit down perfectly. I'm going to drag this and put it on that point. So you can do a few constraints and make sure that those are all, like, we're going to make those all co-radial. Oh, not co-radial. Concentric. So they're all sharing the same point. I can't drag it off there, so it's paired to that. Now I can just adjust the size of these. I'm kind of getting into the weeds here, but let's get back on it. So this is the view I'm drawing. I'm going to need, let's see, the length of this line, which is from here to here, 1.4970, and from here to here, 2.1880. I'm also going to need this little collar. I'm going to make that in here, 1.875. So those are going to be the diameters I'm going to use. So let's start with 1.4970. This plus or minus, that's just machine tolerance, how much up or down you can be. So 3 zeros and a 6. You could have 1.4970 or 1.4976. Or sorry, 6. That's going to be 6.4. 4964 is going to be the lower tolerance of it. And that's just going to be for part fitment. So I'm going to take just this major number right here. 1.4970. Smart dimension. Grab the first circle. 1.4970. Enter. Let's find our second circle. Is going to be 1.875. 1.875. All right, that's going to be that little collar. And next circle, 2.188. Still in dimension. 2.188. Enter. So now we have all of our parts. We're still missing, though, this hex around the outer edge. So that's 2.5 across. And the way I'm going to make that is grabbing this right here, the polygon tool, and it's going to default on the shape I need. I'm not going to attach it to anything yet. What I'm going to do is make a construction line straight up from the center point. And you can see this constraint's added to it, so it's vertical right now. I also want to click on that and change it to a construction line by clicking this and switching it to construction geometry, which you can also do over here and hit for construction. What I'm going to do with that is click this point and hold down shift and select this line. I'm going to make those coincident. So now I have it facing the direction I need. Now I just need to dimension from here to here and make that 2.5. So now we have our drawing, right? So we can work off this. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm going to go to features, and I have this drawing already selected. I'm going to extrude boss, or boss extrude. I'm going to go from sketch plane, mid plane, and let's see how long this bar is. First, we're going to do 36 inches. All right, so let's click this first one, and I'm going to do 36, make sure it's inches. It should, yeah. 36 inches. Mid-plane. Check. Cool. So now what I'm going to do is, excuse me, I'm going to select this sketch again, hit features, and extrude. So now I'm going to select, oh, you know what? Let's pause right here. Yeah, so that's the inner circle. We need to pay attention to where that is. So we need to do the next two circles. We need to extrude on this one because I'm going to cut the collar out later. So it's going to be here and here are going to go how far? 32.5 inches. So let's do this. 32.5. All right. Hit check on that. And then we've got this part right here, which is this hex shaft. That's 2.5. That's right here. And I've got 36, got 32.5 minus 4.25 plus 4.25, which is going to be 8.5. So 32.5 minus 8.5. And if you don't want to put all this in here or do the math, you can type the formulas into SolidWorks. And I've gone over this in some other videos, but you have 32.5. So now let's see, let's go to within this sketch, edit, and oh, sorry, I didn't necessarily need to hit edit. I just needed to select the sketch and go to features, extrude, and I'm going to select this hex. Now I have 32.5, and if you remember, I need to subtract 8.5 from that. So now this is what my parts, it looked kind of weird like that. It looked super chunky, but this is what my part is starting to look like. Now we can go back to that other circle as well. And I might have actually wanted to do that before this, but let's try it from here. If I hit sketch and select, yeah, I'm going to control Z back from, I'm going to go forward. So what I think I actually want to do here first is select this sketch and extrude cut the outer circle if I can. Yeah. So this one is a little tricky. I need a cut that is 0.125 thick to be offset 1.813 from that face. So let's mess with some stuff and see what we get. We're going to do offset from, oh, I guess it doesn't matter the face. We'll go, offset from the drawing. Let's do 3 inches and see where that puts us. So that's where the offset is, and you can change the direction here. See, this is going to be the thickness of it, I think, so 0.125. All right, so that's the thickness. Now, where is it measuring to? Which side of this cut? I'm assuming this inner part, but we can mess with these dimensions and see. Oop, didn't mean to open that. Let's go back to here. 32.5, it should land on the outer face. So if we do 32.5, oh, now it's way out here because I was a mid-plane. So again, typing formulas in here, let's type in divided by 2. And now you see the cut is landing on the front of that face. So if I subtract 0.125, right, now it's measuring from that face. It's kind of hard to explain, but what I had was, that cut was just in front of here, and I subtracted 0.125, or the length of that cut, and now it's right here. I need to make whatever line is right here set back 1.813. So all I'm going to do is, now that I have it flush here, is subtract 1.813. Now I have my cut. With that cut, I'm going to mirror, and that cut extrude is already selected in features to mirror. When I click my mirror face or plane, I'm just going to go back to the plane that I was designing on initially. So it's flipped symmetrically along there. What I'm going to do from that is go back to my sketch and select that. Now I can extrude this hex. So that hex was extruded. Again, I'm going to keep opening that just on accident. 32.5 minus 8.5. So let's do 32.5. Let's just make sure 32.5 minus 8.5. Minus 8.5. So now it's starting to look closer and closer to what it is. Let's see what other steps we can do in here. We have 0.03 chamfer, 45 degrees typical. So let's take that off. We're going to go to our fillet drop down and hit chamfer. We're going to click that edge and that edge. We're going to go, I think it was 0.03, 45 degrees typical. Let's just double check. 0.03, 45 degrees typical. And typical just means anything that you see with a chamfer is going to have the same. Typical just means it's the same all the way around. Just like I'm sure this radius is going to be typical, so let's find that. Radius 0.13 typical. So let's put those in and hit our fillet tool. We're going to fillet this, that, and then the same ones on the other side. Right there and right there. And you can see it's radius. Make sure you have the right one if it's radius or diameter. Radius is 0.13 typical. 0.13. Accept. Cool. So what can we do next? Let's see. I would most likely put in, I have these, the holes are going to be relatively easy, I think. These might be a little difficult because I'm not super good with the hole tool yet, so I'll leave those to the end. I might go after this keyhole and see if I can do that. So, what information? I have a diameter here, 1.387 is the diameter of the hole. I have the length or the distance off this face is 0.810. And this is kind of weird. I have another dimension to the bottom of the circle of 1.072. 0.81, 1.387, 1. Okay. So I'm going to have to draw a circle. Let's just go through it. I'm going to go to sketch and let's see how we're going to go about doing this. This is going to be on the right plane, and I'm going to start by stealing some geometry most likely. So let's convert entities, and we're going to need this front line because we're dimensioning off there. And we're going to need the lines that are connecting it because we're going to have to make this a closed shape. We might actually not need those. Let's clear selections and go back and click this. Click this back line. We're definitely going to need this. But now that I'm thinking about it, sorry if you're following along with me. This is more of just showing my workflow. Clicking these two outer lines, I clicked in here and it picked the one for that fillet, which I didn't want. I'm going to click this front line right here and this back line, and that's going to give me a good box to work off of. I could also click this and this, and I can extend these lines later. Oops. Okay, let's start there. So these lines aren't touching, and what I was the decisions I was making in my head were that I could just do this and extend. I guess that can extend, but these don't have anything to extend to. I would also prefer, I don't like that it doesn't show it running along there if I converted it. I'm not sure why. Must just be a graphics issue. Because I'm sure if I convert. Huh. We'll deal with that later. Let's see. We might actually be able to just do this. Could grab this line and that. No. I think it's just a graphics issue. But I'm going to go back here and trim these. Let's just hit OK for now. I want to hide this body. Let's go to history. Okay. So I have this part right here, and I want a circle, which is going to, sorry, I spent too much time kind of messing around with this. I don't even really need all of that. I just need a few key points, but diameter is going to be 1.387. Diameter 1.387. from here to here is going to be 0.810, 0.810, and then I might need to put an actual point right there to let me dimension from there to there is going to be 1.072. 1.072. Okay. So these are all really going to be construction lines anyway, so I don't need them now that I'm thinking of it. So sorry if I took you on a journey with that, but this is just to constrain the circle, which is going to be cut. So I'm going to switch all these to construction lines. I'm not going to delete them. This is constrained. You can tell by the solid black line. So I'm going to back out of here, and I'm going to go back here and show the body. That's where my key is going to be. So I'm going to select that sketch and go to features and extrude cut. So I have this on blind. I'm going to do mid plane from where it's at and go back and see how thick this cut is. So let me zoom out a bit. I have this at 2 cuts, 0.502 thick. And I think it's showing that cut. Yeah. No, that should be showing the cut. Is there anything else that would show it? What I am seeing here is I'm slightly confused on if this dimension is going to my keyhole or if it's going to, let's see, I'm seeing a few things. All right, first thing, is this slightly rounded? Second thing, it looks like this dimension is going to this keyhole. It's going past that drilled countersink, whatever that is right there. Okay, so this is 0.502, see 251 from the center, or 0.502 overall, and we're doing mid plane, so I'm going to do 0.502. 0.502. Oh, I still have these in here. Let's hit enter on that. Okay, and I think that curve is just natural from the slope or from the arc of this. I think that curve, when you make a straight cut, comes in there naturally. So now we can also mirror this. Let's see, go to here. We're going to mirror that cut extrude, and then the face we're going to pick is going to be that original one we drew on, which is the front plane. And you can preview it right there and hit go. So now we have both of those key slots. Now I'm going to put that back in isometric. Let's go back here and just hit the generic isometric. There we go. So now we can put in these holes. Let's kind of zoom out and see what else. We've got all of this done. We've got that circle, got that diameter. We've got that length done. From here to here's done. Okay, that is going to be the 60 degrees for this hole right here. 0.42 away, see detail B, scale 2/3. Where's detail B? Detail C, oh wait, detail B, scale 2/3. No, this just says 2 times on detail B. 2 times on detail C. So detail C, detail C, detail B is right here. That's the cutout that's up here. We'll get back to that. Let's do these holes right here. Let's see. And this has a break in it the same way this has a break in it. So it's saying that's not necessarily the length. The first hole is going to be 5.813 off this face. So let's see how we're going to do this. It's a 3/4 inch through hole. And it looks like, okay, that's the center line, and it looks like it's on a flat face. So on one of those flat faces, I'm going to start a sketch with a hole centered on the part and 5.813 over. So on here, we're going to open sketch, and let's just pick this face right here. And I'm going to draw a center line. I'm just going to take it to here, and all this is going to be is a construction line. So I can draw a circle on here. So I can't move it up and down, but I can move it side to side. And we are going to dimension this at, well, that's pretty close, 0.75. And then the center point from this line is 5.813. 5.813. So now you have a solid circle, and that's where that needs to be. That is constrained. Now we have a 0.44 diameter through hole, 13.625 from the center of there. So we're going to draw another circle right here, and that's on the center line. So if you try and move it up and down, see it's not constrained. Oops. So let's grab that and shift and hit that, and we'll put those coincident. Now I can move it back and forth, but not up and down. We also know the diameter of this is 0.44. So now we have that hole, and the last thing we need to constrain it is the distance from center point to center point, which is 13.625. 13.625. And we will hit enter. We can back out of here. And you could do one of two things. You could go to your features and extrude cut, or you could hole wizard. I'll just do hole wizard and see. Again, not great with the hole wizard yet, but let's go to ANSI inch. See, this is what I don't know. I need it 0.44. Not sure what that is, or if I want to mess with fractions. Yeah, I've already got those holes drawn, so you could do the 0.75 and drop that on there, but since I'm going to do these both the same, I'm just going to open my sketch, extrude cut both of these holes, and go through all. Now I've got both of my holes in there. The last part I'm going to need is the little pins on these sides. So let me think of how that one might have to be hole wizard. So let me pull that up. It's going 0.42 deep. Let's get a little closer. 0.42, actually to that, without that wedge, you've got 60 degrees. 0.42, let's see if we do a hole wizard and we do countersunk. Let's see what's in here. There might be, this shows the end condition, which is ending right there, not including that, what's that? The tip. Not including the tip, just the shoulder. I guess we could use this as 0.42, right? 0.42. And I have it set to countersink. And then maybe let's find the diameter of that. So it's 60 degrees. It's the diameter of that. 0.42. Oh, is it maybe on the front drawing? Yeah, 0.25 and 0.5. So this is going to be 0.5. That's going to be 0.25. So 0.5 hole is going to get countersunk, and that's 0.25. So it's a 0.25 hole with a countersink. That's 60 degrees. So let's see. That's a quarter inch hole. Do a normal fit. And maybe it defaults 60 degrees. Tolerance and precision, don't need that. Don't need that. End condition, blind, shoulder, hole specifications, normal fit, hole type. Let's see if this works. Let's put it right there and check. So I think this worked, but that might not be an aggressive enough. Let's evaluate from here to here. What angle? I don't know if I can get that angle. It's got to be in the feature somewhere. Let's see if we edit feature. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Let's do this and just check how close we are first. Let's take that part, because we can go back and edit that individually. But what we're going to do, go over here, is mirror that feature. Again, going to mirror it across the front plane that we drew on. Now we have a preview of it over here. We'll hit check. And now we have a shaft with some rounded edges, somewhere to put a little collar or ring, another rounded edge, a keyhole, a chamfer, and a little spot to put a pin. Got the holes in the center are on symmetric across the face, and a hex middle part. And it's mirrored over here. So let's just take a final look and see if we're missing anything. We have our hole, a keyhole, rounded, spot for a collar, hex shaft, two holes, same thing, symmetric on there. We'll zoom out and see if we missed anything. And then we have 47.05. Let's see if there's a material call out. Geometry, dimensions are in inches. Okay, could have used that. Angular, 2-piece decimal, 3-piece. Material, AISI 1045 steel cold drawn. AISI 1045 steel. So let's go to here and edit material and do AISI. What type of steel was that? 1045 steel. 1045 steel cold drawn. Let's apply that and close. Let's put this part back into isometric. Go to evaluate and hit mass properties. And we have 47.056 pounds. What do we need? 47.056. So maybe 0.06, maybe 0.01 off, but looks close enough for me. And that's how you make your stepped shaft.